On Page SEO. Well, good evening to you. Hope you're well. First in the room tonight was Bob, followed by Paul, followed by Laurie. And I know others will join as we get going tonight here on DFY Magic Themes. We're going to be talking about on-page SEO, and we'll be calling one of our members up who I know Robert's been working with this week to help this person get their site found even more. All this and lots more tonight on DFY Magic Themes. Well, hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, howdy doody. Good to see everyone tonight on the Friday call. It's that Friday feeling. You all right, Robert? You're muted, mate, I think. Does it let you unmute? Shall I ask you to unmute in case it's not letting you? I'll do sign language for you, bud. Hey, we can hear you.
It wouldn't let me unmute.
Ah, okay.
I was locked out.
Oh, well, we don't always want to hear you. I'm joking.
I know. I get it.
No need to shut up.
And that's how it is, right?
Yeah. How's your week been?
Busy. Lots going on. Some personal stuff going on.
Yeah.
Today is my 39th happy anniversary day.
Happy anniversary, Robert.
39 years. 45 years together.
We've got less for life.
I mean, time goes by so fast.
Doesn't it? I've been with my good partner 16 years now. So, and it's easy to remember because my daughter is coming up 16 in April next year. So she's 15 at the moment. So we got together and then along came Izzy. So it's easy to remember that 16 years for us. And I don't dare forget the time the date we met in March.
We were high school sweethearts. She was a freshman and I was a junior when we met. She had a boyfriend, I had a girlfriend at the time. And both of us were like on the edge of getting away from the relationships. And I was in a swim team and we had a swim team party. And we had already had a date scheduled for Saturday, and that was like a Friday night. And the swim team was known for drinking back then. And I drank more than my share. And to make a long story short, I was standing next to her, and Cindy is 5'4", and I passed out on top of her. It's just.
That's very kind of you.
And
is that one of the worst chat lines ever?
It wasn't even a line. I just passed out. I drank too much, passed out. Next thing I know, they were this back in the day, they were trying to give me black coffee and get me sober, and send me on my way home. But luckily I didn't drive. Somebody else drove me. I was not coherent. Anyways, she stuck with me 39 years after that.
Wow. What a way to meet someone or get to know someone, or
Well, we were already scheduled to go out on a date to the
right.
movies for our first date, but it turned out that the swim team party was kind of just something. She was the manager of the swim team. She didn't swim, but it's just a funny story. I always thought.
I tried doing synchronized swimming once, but I couldn't
Oh,
hold my
boy.
breath very long, so I decided not to bother. Plus, I'm not very synchronized.
I tell you what, swimming is a good sport. It's a tough sport. Really gets you in good shape. Anyways,
did you ever jump off the dive boards?
I was not a diver.
No.
My daughter was. My daughter was very good at it, but she didn't stay in it long.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back to the subjects at hand.
Yeah, why not?
And you know, life is experience, life is wisdom, life is sharing, right? All the things that we do. And if Lori is okay with coming on the call with us, I just want to have a little chat about some things. I don't want to say what your site is or what happened or what didn't happen, but I want to say kudos to Lori, because no matter what challenge is thrown her way, she always seems to dodge the bullets, dodge the grenades, and get things done. She just digs in and does what's necessary. And her site was stuck. I think we had talked about a month ago that you were going to turn in a ticket, and I think you just delayed for one reason or another. But anyways, finally the ticket came in. So when it comes to doing SEO, doing website building, doing any of these tech things that you get stuck in, it always falls back to somebody that you can ask, a community, a group. In our case, Stephen and myself, because we do these builds, but there's always new stuff that comes up, and there's always new challenges that come up. And what I thought was interesting here was Lori took a build and recreated a niche and did a great job on it. But there was a couple things that, we don't know what we don't know, right? There was a couple things in switching one build niche, which was website building, to another completely different niche. And because Rank Math Pro wasn't activated, this is the big point here. Rank Math Pro was not activated. So the original build, which was part of Rank Math, was put into the file form so you guys could build your sites, and then you could take it from there. But the schema from the original build was left in place. So the schema from one niche going to the next niche, it's not much. It's just the website title and the tagline in the schema settings. Lori changed them on the website, but not in the schema. So is that Lori's fault? No. Is that our fault? No. But at the end of the day, Google sees a site with mixed signals. It's saying this niche, but it's also got some leftovers of this niche. So it becomes a confused, where should I rank it type of arrangement. Was that the only thing? No, it wasn't, but that's a big red flag when you're saying your niche schema and you're telling your schema on the website build is telling Google this website is supposed to be about this. So when they crawl it and it's about blue widgets, but you're trying to sell red widgets, it gets confused, and so does your ranking with all of the other things that happen. So that being said, we're later on in the inner circle, we're going to talk about some other settings that are in the Rank Math Pro that you should be aware of. But the biggest thing, if you're going to build anything, you got to get the settings right from the get-go so that you can tell Google what's correct and what's not correct. Lori, so the question to you is, you don't have to divulge the niche or anything, rankings, or you can say page one, whatever, but what did you see happen in a matter of a few days by making a few changes? Now, I know you spent, I'm going to say 3 hours, 4 hours. Is that fair? I don't know.
Fixing?
You fixed all the images,
Yeah.
right? The title tags of the images, or the alt tags, I should say.
Yeah, there's some links as well.
Well, the links were, in all fairness, was from one build to another build. Some of the pages changed, the content changed, so the original links that were left were then broken.
Correct.
So there were some 404 errors on the pages, which that's not a great signal for Google either, to have
Right.
404 errors. So you did alt tags, you did fixing of the links to make sure everything was clickable, going where it's supposed to go, and saying what it was supposed to say, right?
Yep.
And what else did we do?
Added a little bit of content. We created a new page with a keyword that you had found.
Okay.
And I guess the schema.
That was a really quick fix. But so here's what happened, okay? Lori bought Rank Math Pro. And I'm going to say at least a month ago.
Yeah.
So it didn't get installed.
Correct.
It didn't get installed and didn't get it Google Analytics activated, right? So all of the things that Rank Math can start doing for you wasn't happening because it wasn't turned on.
Mm-hmm.
So once that did happen, I'm going to say you were solidly page 5, page 6 at the beginning of the week.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I didn't see you anywhere else in what I looked. I mean, I'm not saying I extensively searched every keyword out there, but I at some of it. You jumped up. I noted at least page 2 and some page 1 rankings within a few days.
Correct. Yes.
And I think for sure it's going to be doing a Google Dance chat. It's going to be going
Yeah,
up,
I look
going
forward
down.
to it.
But with what all of this means is taking action, getting help when you need it, raising your hand. Now, what else happened? Well, you were not aware, but I was aware that as soon as I saw some things happening, the slower load speed, I said, Stephen, can we optimize the images? Sure, boom. Jumps in, he ran the optimizer for you. And we just looked at the basics. But you doing the right things, fixing the 404 errors, getting all the alt tags, and that stuff matters. Every little thing that you can get right, and every little thing that you can tell Google, this image is about this niche. This image is about this niche. And the importance of really digging down to the keyword of the page is now more and more important than ever, plus the locations that we're doing these things in. So if you're doing location-based websites, and obviously different niches can go all over the world, and most of the niches that we are doing are service-based industries. So we can't go more than 60 to 100 miles away from where we are, because the service guys are not going to travel that far to go do a job. It just doesn't work. So in the end, paying attention to the smaller details, taking the action of making sure the site is correct. What you had to do, Lori, is what we do on every build. You know, I we look at this for months sometimes. Going back and that's short codes that when you actually see the view of the page and the short codes are still showing, it means they're broken. There's something wrong, or there's something not in the value. But what happens is you get so familiar with looking at the edit page that seeing the short codes becomes the norm, so that when you go to view the page and you see the short codes, you don't actually see them as being broken. So Stephen and I, on every build, at the end, say, okay, let's do a final run. And a lot of times it's not the final run. A lot of times it's the second and third and fourth final run, because we find stuff wrong that we get fixed. And like, you know, I'm dealing with it on that side a lot more than Stephen is. But at the end, when it comes down to it, and we get in and he goes, that's wrong. No, and you're absolutely right, it's wrong. We got to fix it. And we go through page by page, just like you did. We click every button. We click every service link. We click every phone link. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do, we have to fix them. And there's some secrets to that, which we'll talk about later in the inner circle, on how we set these up so you can replicate a site and keep making it evergreen, putting it out there without having to fix your links every time.
Laurie, let me ask you a question. You reached out to us on support saying, I'm stuck, right? Do you think you would have been able to get the answers to sort out a lot of your SEO issues on your site if you hadn't had our support and the support system?
No way. There's just no way. Yeah.
Because it's a hive of information out there. I mean, as an example, I'm just going to share my screen a second, because I wanted to show you this, which is quite interesting. Make sure I'm on the right desktop. There we go. Right. So I'll just wait for it to come up. There we go. So Google loves doing updates all the time, and I want to share this with people. It's interesting. If you're using a URL, and in this example, it is example.com, but it'd be your URL. They recommend not to use these sort of symbols. And I remember someone once saying to me, oh, I'm able to copy anyone's site by using a special character like this. If you look at the U there, it's got 2 dots above it. And people try and do that to con people, making out it's your, you know, it's the proper legit site. But Google has started to de-index this sort of thing. Something else that's interesting that I picked up on this week was they like hyphens. So in this example, it's example.com, summer-clothing, and it's got a filter in there, which is perfectly fine, and color-profile equals dark gray. But it's this / bit here that is interesting. And the reason it says up there anyway is because Google likes things to be easy to see. So if you had a domain name, which was, you know, xy4321.com, it ain't going to work. If you have a domain name with what it says on the tin, then that's going to work. Just jumped to the wrong screen there. Let's come back. So the idea behind this is is keyword in your domain name, and then a different keyword on your page. And if it's 2 keywords together as your page name, then make sure you put a hyphen in between, because that'll make Google happy, and also makes people happy. If they know what it says on the tin, they're going to go to, for example, Amazon.com/summer-clothing, and they can read that fine. If it's all one, then it's not so good. And I've been doing a bit of research this week on hyphen domains, because I didn't always think they work as well. But Google's last sort of updates are now saying, if it's easier to read, people are going to click on it. People click on it, they're going to like your site. If your site's got the information that after, they're going to stay on your site. And all those are lovely alarm bells for Google to go, well, people like this site. Guess what? I'm going to push it up the search engine. Then you have decent backlinks to these sites as well. And it all works well. They recommend not using underscores. They don't do underscores, do dashes. And they don't recommend joining words together. So green dress, all one word. So we're now finding out that if you want to buy hyphen domain names, and there's a lot of them out there, you can now, for an example, do london-local-plumber.com, or and that'll work well. Something else Google recommends is try and use your own country URL. So if you're in America or places like that, it'd be .com. They prefer in the UK .co.uk. If it's Germany, I think it's .de. So they prefer you to try and use your own regional domain name. But that has been changing a bit, because obviously now we've got different extensions on the end. There might even be like a .training one now. But of course, if there's a domain like that you're going to go and buy, you want to be doing training on .training. You want to be doing plumbing on .plumbing. How well these other domain names are going to rank, I'm still testing, and I haven't found great results. So I prefer .coms and .co.uk's. And on average in the UK, I end up buying both, because I don't want someone piggybacking my business, depending on what I'm doing. If you're a local plumber in the UK, I'm not going to worry too much. There goes my screen again. I'm not going to worry too much on if someone nicks my .com version at the end of the day. But if I'm doing something a bit more important, then globally, I always make sure I buy the .com. I don't worry too much about additional extensions. If someone wanted to nick the .co.uk version of a domain name, well, let them do it. Let them try it, because at the end of the day, everyone knows, like DFY Magic Themes is .com. You could end up buying hundreds of domain names, costing you loads of money a year, and you're not doing much with them. And the important thing is to learn, like I've learned. I've been getting rid of domain names, and I'm going, well, I've had that domain name 5 years. Yes, it's an aged domain name. Am I going to do anything with it? No, I'm not. So get rid of it. But there's some interesting information on here, and when we're in the inner circle, we will share a bit more of that.
See,
information.
These are all the things that add up. And for somebody starting out new, they don't know. There is so much that can get thrown at you, and there's so much hype about what you should buy and what's going to work. And the community we have in DFY Magic Themes is about sharing what works and also sharing what doesn't work. And if we see something going the wrong direction, we're going to say something, because it's not about selling the next product. It's about making sure that you guys get to where you want to get to. And will it always work? I'm going to say, if you do the work and really put behind the content into the sites, they're going to rank. They're going to do what you want them to do. And it's not a 5-minute success. You have to work at these things, and you have to give Google what Google wants to rank a site. And that's what's important here, is the shiny I saw a video the other day, and I commented on it that was a perfect example of shiny object syndrome for us. There was a greyhound dog race. There was 5 dogs in the shot coming, and they're chasing the robotic rabbit. They're all 4 or 5 of them are together. And then a real rabbit comes across the track, and all 5 dogs turned hard right off the track to go after the real rabbit. It was hilarious. And I thought to myself, that's a perfect example. That's what we do. We're chasing that shiny object, and then boom, there's another one. And we're off the wrong direction again. You have to stay consistent. You have to lay out, and you have to buckle down on what you're going to do. If you keep jumping, if you keep changing directions, if you keep, tacking back and forth, you don't make any forward progress. And, I thought that what Lori did this week shows how much she puts into this, because she wants to get a result. And when Stephen and I see people doing that, we want to help as much as we possibly can. And I'm going to say, do we have every answer for everybody? No, we don't. But if you're doing all the right things, it's usually going to pay off, and it's usually going to work. And I have no doubt that Lori's site will will rank for things that she didn't think it would ever rank for, which is fine, plus what she's going after. She was very smart in choosing her domain name, and she went with buyer intent keywords, which that's another whole subject for another day, but all of these things matter. And if you really don't know, you're starting out brand new, that's the time to plug into people that are in a community that are doing the same thing and can help you. If you just try to do it all on your own, and I did it for many, many years. I didn't want to share anything I knew because I thought I knew more than everybody else. No, you learn by sharing, and you learn by talking to other people. And you're going to find what works and what doesn't work every time. So Lori, I thank you for coming on the call for one, and for two, putting in the effort, because it's important for us to see you do well. And that's really what we want to happen. And we want this formula to be not hard work, but just do the work and the rest comes easy. That's what we want. And you're a prime example of putting in hard work, tackling stuff you may not understand, and it doesn't matter. You're still going to do it. It's still going to work one way or another. So that's all I really wanted to say, Lori, and I appreciate you. And like I said, the effort you put in will always show up in the things that you build.
You know, the best thing of all, what we do with DFY Magic Themes is we bring up people like Lori, who are genuine customers, and we share it. If you get into any of our groups, you'll find most people that follow what we do and do what we do are in the groups, and you can message them directly and ask them questions. You know, inside of our groups. That's the fun thing about it, you know. And another little tip for you, all to do with your websites and stuff, is oh, guess what that is? Oh, bad luck, guys. See you next week on the free groups. You have to bear with me. It's a lot slower nowadays to stop some of these channels, turn them off, because of one stream's gone and changed it all. So I'm just making sure before I give away the secrets, all the free channels have disappeared. So we'll just give them a moment or two while we say goodbye to them. And I think they're gone. Just make sure. Yeah. Right. Let me just switch back to the other screen so we can turn off that there, and I'll share the secrets. Here we go. Yeah, so I was about to share the cool thing about WordPress that I love the most is you can install a page duplicator plugin. So when you created a page you absolutely love the look of and the design, you duplicate it over to a new page, and then you change some of the content around, you add some more keywords, and you go with keyword-based pages. I'm just going to log into ChatGPT, give you guys some my ideas on this, because I've been playing around with this in the week, and I've had great fun doing it. So I've got to be on the right window. That would help. A minute. ChatGPT. And we show you some of the things I do to get further ideas. Share screen again. Share. So let's give an example of a plumber's website, right? And I want ideas. I've got my DFY site set up. I've installed it in an hour because it's easy it can install it in half an hour. I've done the company data on it. And if you want to be super lazy, I was saying this to a customer today, a person who's thinking of joining us, that I said, you can just pick a plumber online that hasn't got a website and put their company data in for now. You own the website still. You can change it to Twilio number anytime you want in the future. It's just a case of getting up and running. So you've got the plumber's website up and you want some ideas. So you can say, give me the niche for plumbers. Straight away, I've now got a whole load of page ideas. Straight away. Look how many I've got, how many it's created me. 20 of them. Do you think if you then went and cloned a page you like the look of, and you went, okay, I'm going to build my emergency plumber service page. That's my title. All right. And focusing on providing rapid response assistance for urgent plumbing issues, such as burst pipes, leaks. So now I can say, I can go to my page and I can go, give me more content based on this. Oh, look, it's just built my next page. Boom. And then you can say, add bin tax. Oh, look, it's added bin tax for me. Now I've got an evergreen version. Bam. So instantly, what's that taking me? Less than a minute, you know, to get all these 20 niches, various niches where I can copy them, clone a page I like. And we keep saying, people, you know, we get messages from time, they go, how do I change the content on a page of a DFY site? You go to the page and you replace the short code with the content, and you create your own short code and put the content in. Right? If it doesn't look quite right as well, if, you know, like all these spaces don't look quite right, then what you can always say is, please give it, type it to me in HTML. Wonder if you'll understand me. So now it's going to give it to me in a format that is not only spun, but it's also going to be in HTML format as well. Hopefully it kept the spin text in. If not, I can re-ask it again. I can copy. So if I want to copy this conclusion, I can say convert to HTML, paste it in.
The big thing that Steve said there, if you guys didn't take note of that, you should. If you're going to put it in a blog post or you're going to put it on a page and you're not worried about being an evergreen site, you can just put the content straight on it, right? You don't have to do the spinning. However, if you're going to make it an evergreen site, or you're going to make sure that you protect your content that you're doing for a customer, you're going to put that content into a short code and then put the short code on page. Doing it that way, the spin tax will work through the MCB and the spun content will show properly.
Yeah.
Where otherwise you have to put it directly on page and use it that way.
It's the same as if I'm stuck and I can't remember a piece of code, right? I'll type in HTML page break and it's you can add info. Normally it's this arrow and a P in front, Robert, that you just add for a page break.
Yeah, it's usually just the arrow, small p.
Yeah, like there.
The opposite arrow and then
Yeah.
the /P.
Yeah. Is that on the end then with /P, or is it just
Well, it
arrow?
Begins a paragraph and ends a paragraph with a small p.
Yeah. So I do a search on here when I can't, because my memory's appalling, and I want to know. W3 Schools is very good for a lot of this information as well. So you can learn quite a bit of HTML coding. So when you're back on here and that doesn't turn out right for any reason, what you can always do instead is take this and you say, I want this content to be laid out inside of our MCB plugin inside of a shortcode, and all you do is put the arrow P on here and close it with it, and then carry on down, and it'll put a page break in between each of these. But that's something we'll get into more training at a later time. But I wanted to really show people how quickly you can generate content, and you can convert these into blog posts and all sorts as well. You can say, for example, write me a blog post. Let's do it now as well. Let's see what it comes up with. Write me a blog post.
One other point, when you're taking HTML and you're going into the MCB, make sure you're out of visual mode and in text mode when you paste in the HTML.
So it's writing this, and in a few we're aiming for a few weeks' time. We've got a lot on with our devs at the moment, and we're going to have a third party come in on some brilliant prompts for ChatGPT, and we're not going to say too much at the moment, because over the next week I've got tons of training to still finish recording. It's been an interesting week with getting updates done. We've got hopefully in the next few days an updated version of the MCB. There's been some updates recently with WordPress, and so we're making sure we keep that plugin up to date. When that's done, we'll announce it inside of the group, and then you go into your members area where the licenses are, and there's a download link. Download it and upload it. We are planning eventually on getting it into the WordPress repo, and then we can do the remote updates. But we are finalizing a few plugins first, because the process with WordPress to submit stuff, it's better to have them fully up and running, and ready, and then you submit it and you give them access to it. They go and have a play. They go, yeah, we allow it. And we want to do that with 2 or 3 plugins all in one hit, and then go from there on that. So that's exciting. What else is there new, Robert? We will be having another theme coming out in the next few weeks as well.
Yeah,
comment which one it was.
It's commercial cleaning.
Commercial cleaning, yeah.
Lori,
So
did you have any
office
other
cleaning.
questions while we have you? Otherwise, we're going to let you off the screen so you don't have to look nervous.
No, I forget to remove people from Spotlight from time to time. Yeah,
we appreciate you, Lori, and
No,
everybody.
awesome.
Everybody works at this, and it's a matter of being consistent. But watching her site climb the ranks in a few days just by making a few changes. Now, what I did want to say, the deeper you get into rank math, a lot of people will miss the fact that you can edit the snippets, which is the titles, permalinks, and the metadata. But there's also a section next to it for the social. And you should upload an image that shows for each page on the Twitter and Facebook. And that's part of the rank math algorithm. And it's simply looking from general to the right. There's a little symbol for links, like a 3-sided triangle symbol. I don't know what the symbol is actually called, but if you click on that symbol, it brings up the other box where you can add that image for every page, because rank math algorithm for the keyword is for the entire page. So to strengthen your page, you make sure every image on that page, the alt tags and descriptions are the keyword of the page you're putting the image on. It's not randomized. We used to just randomize it all about the niche. Now you go to every page and you have certain images on a page. You do the alt tags and description based on the keyword of that page, the major keyword. And you also do the image for the social media, doing it the same way. It strengthens the entire SEO of the page because you're staying focused on that one keyword and the LSI keywords around it.
Yeah, I agree. And so, it's we've got a lot of exciting things coming up over the coming weeks with what we're doing with DFY Magic Themes. We're going to be having more and more themes coming out as quickly as we possibly can. We've got our devs on a process now, haven't we, Robert, where it's going to make things easier. We're unifying all the codes because we've got some themes with with older codes in them. And so the devs are updating those as we speak to get them all unified. Those that got L Messenger through me, we are going to be releasing the first lot of training to Inner Circle members within the next few days. That's going to show you how to use the basic version of L Messenger, but it works as well on the advanced one. We initially came up with the idea of Facebook Niche Pro, and then I decided to drop it just in case I get my hand smacked by Facebook, because they might do. So we're changing it to and I've completely forgotten the name, Rob, but you might remind me in a minute.
DFY Leads.
Magic Leads Pro.
There you go.
That's what it was. DFY Magic Leads Pro. And so you'll see in the group that name will change at some point, and then when it's ready, we're going to put a coupon code in the group for people to go and grab that, and then you'll see the first part of the training. If you haven't got L Messenger from us, anyone who signs up who hasn't got L Messenger already, it will give you a free basic account automatically. We're setting that up to be automated. So we're getting there with that. And then my plans are to continue recording and editing the new Magic Ranker. That's taken me a while to get through everything I want to do with it. And then also do some pro training on L Messenger Pro for people who, like I said, who've got that. What else are we doing? I've got some other training in the back of my head that I can't remember off the top of my head that's coming up, but there's so much going on. My whiteboard's over there, and I can't read this time of night because my eyes get tired.
No, it's not. It's not even simplified anymore, because everything is just expanding. And like I said to Stephen earlier today, the process is never going to change. It's going to be build the sites. It's going to then put up all the backup material behind the sites to make them rank, but at the same time, you're renting them to your clientele. So it's a double-edged sword. What do I do first, rank it or rent it? The reality is you try to rent it first. And there's no reason you can't say to somebody, hey, I'm building this site and I need to send the leads to somebody. I'm not going to be able to do anything with them just yet as I'm building the site. Would you be interested? And then set up some kind of minimal fee or free or whatever you want to do, but get them hooked early on. Or pick somebody from Google My Business Listings, the ones that answer the phone, and just send the leads to them. Eventually, if you have the call tracker, you put a whisper on it and say, this lead is coming from ABC Leads, and please take care of this client or this customer, how you want to word it. But it's just going to get better and better and better as the processes get simplified. And it's a lot of work sometimes for some people when they're starting out brand new, but we want to stop the effort of learning things you don't need to know until you need to know them. That's the real savings of time. Yeah. So what's our questions for the week? Support tickets have been low. There haven't been a lot of support tickets.
No, there's just been odds. Oh, Mr. Dimmock's got his hand up. He's very keen. Let's add him to Spotlight. You're able to unmute yourself, I think, my friend. Does it let you?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yes. Hello.
How are you, Mr. Steve?
I'm good. Good.
Yeah.
I wanted to share something with you guys. A client I've been working with for about 15 years. So long-term, a long-term website client. She's gone from struggling entrepreneur trying to make ends meet to being a 6-figure a month earner.
Oh.
So it's been a really cool relationship getting to know her business and helping her along the way with websites and stuff. She created a podcast about a very specific topic with interior design back in 2013. And it's still getting 4,000 downloads a month.
Wow. Which platform she runs it on?
What, the podcast?
Yeah.
Is on iTunes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's very, very niche topic. It's not like interior design in general. It's one specific thing to do with the holidays. and so it's seasonal, but she's just crushing it. And and it's a series. So what I mean by that is it was like, I don't know, 15 episodes. And she recorded it 10 years ago. And it is still driving business 100 and whatever it is, 130 something downloads a day on average.
So that goes to show that you could do a podcast yourself for your agency business, talking about stuff to do with not necessarily SEO, because it change. You and I know it changes a lot, with Google. But you can talk about, putting keywords on pages probably won't change for years to come. Talk about building a website and some of the products you use within that. Maybe get someone on the call with you where you can ask some different questions.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, we got the whole rank and rent thing going on with all these cool verticals with different service industries. But the thing that struck me was, what about a directory site, a local geographically based directory site about not just any business in town, but a specific type of business, like plumbing or something. And then you put a podcast. You own a directory site. You will always own a directory site. What you're renting is, their listing on the directory site. You have a podcast. This is what I've been doing this week. I've been using ChatGPT to generate content that is going to become a podcast.
And then you can also use 11th Lab, where you pre-record your voice into it.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT writes it for you. You whack it into 11th Lab that will speak it for you. Yeah. And you've got the MP3. Well, guess what? You upload it to where you want to upload it and call it podcast number 1.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And in fact, you've inspired me, because and Robert's going to smack my hand because I've got enough to do. But that's something I'm going to write on my whiteboard, that after all the training's created, and unfortunately there's not AI out there that can record what I want and click on a screen at the same time. One day there will be. I'll say I want to do this, but at the moment it's easy to record the training myself. But that'll come in time. But that's a brilliant idea, to go ChatGPT. Say, I want to write a podcast series on this. Can you give me ideas? Get your ideas, convert it to 11th Lab.
Exactly.
Audio out. And in fact, there's products out there already that you don't even need to use your own voice if you don't want to. But I'm a great believer if you're doing anything on video, if you're doing anything on podcasts, use your own voice, because people come to know it.
Yeah, it's a building of a brand.
It is. Personal connection.
Your voice is great or it's not great, right? My father-in-law used to tell me all the time, don't do the recordings. Let Cindy do them, my wife, because we used to do his stuff all the time. And I just couldn't get her to the microphone. She's a very good narrator of reading stuff, and it was always, really good. I stutter, I pause, I do this. With the 11th Lab now, that fixes all that. I mean, my voice is wonderful on 11th Lab, and so I call it Professor Steve, because it's just like, it just rips through the content, sounds like him, and you would hardly know it's different. It's like he spent a lot of time recording this and taking out little pauses and it's perfect. But all the technology is here, and you come up with the right idea. Just come up with the right idea, and it just takes off. Some ideas are winners. Some ideas just don't get the views you think you're going to get, but some of them blow up.
I mean, I'm so glad that you said that you've got someone coming on to talk about prompt writing, because I mean, that's what this is coming down to. I'm at the point now where I'm getting books out on Kindle Unlimited, for my research, and I go through the table of contents of the book, and I think, okay, this book might have some good content, and I take the content, and it gives me ideas to ask questions, and I put the questions into GPT, and it gives me, I usually start with like a list, Like, give me a list of 10 things about blah, and it gives me a list. And I'm like, okay, so what are the most common problems about each of those 10 different things? So if you're doing like an electrical panel replacement for an electrician site, what are the 10 most common problems that an electrician will encounter that is going to boost the price up for the homeowner? And it's just little things like that. It's so that people don't think about it. And no, the thing is that going this extra effort to generate content like this, to create a podcast, there's a whole different level of effort. But the great thing about that is that's a huge barrier for most people. Most people won't put that effort in. But it's encouraging for me that this client of mine, she created this podcast 10 years ago, and she's killing it with this podcast. And it's very, very specific. She's not getting 5,000 downloads a day. Does she need that many? No. She's getting 130, which I think, even if she was only getting 30 downloads a day, she'd still be killing it. It's just
but
continual.
what you said there, again, we don't know what we don't know. We can play around. We can try, we can experiment, we can get some answers out, right? But I promise you, we're not doing it right. We don't have the expertise. All kinds of stuff is coming out about, you can buy a thing of 1,000 prompts.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty generic stuff that you can think up most of them on your own, but they're probably not quality. They're probably not asking the right questions. You have to write the right questions to AI to get the right answer that you're after. And that's a science in itself. And that's why we have been working towards putting that together, because we know it's of value to all of us. Thing comes in, the book writing thing comes in, how much more content do we have to add to our sites because of AI? Well, I think that's probably doubled or tripled compared to where it was before AI.
It's easier though.
It does.
I mean, there's still work there, but it's different work. It's easier. It's more productive, and you were gonna say so much. With, well, what kind of business do I want to run? Do I want to run rank and rent? Do I just want to be an agency and sell site? I can create a directory and increase visible listing in that directory. If you're a nice podcast, I'll interview you for 20 minutes.
Always been great things to bring in other professionals to come in and talk about a topic.
Yeah.
Bring in the big guns, so to speak, to talk about a topic. But
did you know Robert wrote a plumber's one recently? Hopefully I can play it, and you guys will hear it in a moment when it starts playing.
He's set me up here.
He's been busy doing a
Welcome
plumbing.
to Plumbing Pro Talk.
You hear that?
With me, Robert, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of plumbing, sharing insights, tips, and stories from the experts themselves. I'm your host, your name, and today we have a special episode in store for you. We'll be discussing common plumbing mistakes and how to avoid them. So, whether you're a seasoned plumber or just starting out in the field, this episode is packed with valuable information to up your plumbing game. But before we get started, a quick reminder to subscribe to Plumbing Pro Talk on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode.
You get the idea of
And
that.
now let's jump right into it.
That.
Nice. Did you
Tim,
just create that while we were talking?
I
no,
was
you were
recording
talking.
on the other screen.
What Robert? Actually, this is Robert AI who's on now. What he did in a couple of minutes was actually create the podcast using ChatGPT. We did not use 11th Lab. We wouldn't cheat like that. And Robert created the plumbing podcast. That's amazing, isn't it?
I would cheat that every time.
Apart from the mistake where you said your name, everything was perfect.
Everything was great. But you know, that's like what's on your websites. If you guys don't change the company information, that's what it says. Your name, your company name, your phone number.
I think we should hear that. So see if I can find that bit again.
The world of plumbing, sharing insights, tips, and stories from the experts themselves. I'm your host, your name.
I'm your host, your name. I think that's brilliant.
And as we get all of this together, these are the things that everybody can use. But it comes back to it. You got to have the foundations. You got to have the builds. And I love the idea about the directory. And we have set that up. You can do niche specific directories on the front end. And you start doing podcasts and you start doing, look at what's being, I would say myself, look at Google Trends. See what trends are moving forward or going up and get into those trends. Because that's what's going to keep going where something else might die out.
I know somebody who did a podcast on YouTube just with a still image of themselves. And they did a series on that, and that exploded. So, there's some great ideas here. And if you can use your channel, the advice I give people when you set a channel up is niche down. Find something that you know is going to work and niche down. Don't try and copy the big cats because you won't beat them, and but always niche down. It's the same, we found with the Magic Video Ranker, as previously called the Video Boot Camp, but we've tried to call it the Magic Video Ranker now because it sounds better. And with that, you create your video in your local niche, put it up online, and then you use that to boost that particular video online, and it pumps it up there above the others. And that's the idea of these things is to help you rank what you're doing as easy as possible. Really, that's what we're working towards. That's exciting, Steve. And everything else in your business going well? You're super busy?
Yes, super busy. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And that's good because I remember when we used to talk when I was mentoring you throughout COVID, really, wasn't it? And wonderful conversations we had. My favorite one that keeps coming back is the lady who was driving you mad. And I told you to fire her, and the look on your face that day was what? And I said, fire her, you'll feel better for it.
Oh
and
my
God,
God,
you had a perfect watertight contract written anyway. You fired her, and within a couple of weeks, you had even more clients come on board that were less hassle.
Yeah. Talk about the universe, testing you, is Steve really going to accept this kind of crap from this person? Or, maybe I should send more crap clients to Steve. Nope. Steve put his foot down, not going to accept that. Now he gets good clients.
And that's the bonus when you own your own website. And that's what, everyone else is saying, build, rank, rent, right? So you have to spend the time, you build it, you spend 3 months ranking it because Google won't index it for 3 months sometimes, maybe even 6 months. And in that time, you could have been making money. That's why we always say, build it, find someone you can rent it to. Even if you say the first year's discounted, it's better to make $99 a